Hey, Relay friends, it's Lindsey Hein here, and today we are airing an episode for Road to the Trials. So, Matt, Peter, and I are all co hosting this awesome series called Road to the Trials, where we have been interviewing and plan to interview every single qualifier for the Olympic Trials Marathon from now until 2028. And we are all three going to be at CIM this weekend. So we broke down some of the top athletes who will be at CIM in this conversation. We talked about what we'll be doing at the expo, and we thought this would be a good use of time and space for both Road to the Trials and Relay podcast feed to just air that episode here as well. So please enjoy this conversation, this CIM preview from the Road to the Trials feed here. And if you aren't already following Road to the Trials, go follow us on Instagram and subscribe to the feed there. Hope you enjoy. Is this thing on? Hello. Welcome to Road to the Trials. This is Lindsey Hein, joined with Matt Chittim and Peter Bromka. I can't say your name. Peter Bromka. It wasn't coming out. Leave it in.
Bromka, here we go.
Bromka. That's who that guy is. Listen, we are so excited, friends, because we are going to be in CIM in Sacramento for the California International Marathon. We're going to be doing some pre-race interviews at the expo. We're going to be catching some people at the finish line after they just like tear it up on this course. We are so excited to interact with so many friends there. I first want to thank VDOT for supporting this podcast. When we had the idea, and when I say we, I mean Peter and then Matt, because Road to the Trials was Matt's baby from the start. And then Peter had this wild idea to interview every single qualifier. But we went to several sponsors and said, hey, we need someone to support this so that we can do it. And VDOT said, yes, I'm on board. I want to support it. So this is the training platform I use. I've been coaching on that platform for over 5 years. It's easy to integrate. You too, Matt?
Yep.
And actually, yeah, James McCurdy, he was like one of the original coaches on the platform. It's easy to integrate. It's so easy to use, and I cannot say enough good things. So go to v.o2.com to check them out. If you want to subscribe or register, you can use the code Road to the Trials to get yourself a discount. And listen, we love brands that get behind like this running space and want to support telling these stories. So thank you, VDOT, for making this possible. And Emma Benner, who's our editor, thank you so much as well. All right, guys, we got a lot to run down today. We got
a lot to cover. This is going to be great. I'm so excited.
Week.
This is the CIM preview episode brought to you by California International and our sponsors. We will be covering all of the things to get excited about, both the expo and the race. This is the US Marathon Championships, and it is, as Matt said, bonkers. It is nuts. So we'll get into that in a minute. And we're going to talk about our live shows that we'll be doing, and would love to have all of you stop by. Note, the expo is in a different location than it has been the last couple of years. So please take note of that. And then, man, we have been interviewing some fantastic athletes from around the nation over the last couple months. And hopefully we have a moment to just highlight some of the themes and insights that we're seeing, because it's been a joy. But first of all, let's get into, as many of our interviews have said recently, I wanted to get it on your show before CIM because I think it's going to be a tidal wave of qualifiers. So I can't wait.
It's
for sure.
All right.
I can't wait to do it too. But I do want to say one thing before we get into it. We do have another sponsor, OS First, who's also one of the key sponsors of the California International Marathon as well. So I'm so glad that they're going to be on board for this. You're going to hear a lot of their ad reads for the post CIM episodes, which is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have dozens of them. A lot of work coming up here on Road to the Trials. I do want to give them a shout out. They actually sponsored my virtual race series back during COVID, all the way back. And I want to highlight them because I still wear those socks that I got 5 years ago. And I don't just wear them casually, picking up the kids from school. I wear them running, and they still work. I have a variety of different pairs. My wife steals them. That's how good they are at this point. Even though they're 5 years old, my wife will steal them on her runs. They are the real deal. They're socks with purpose, for runners with purpose. That's their tagline, and for good reason. These things are made for activity, made for production, and they just work so well, and they last. When you're going to get these socks that you're going to pay a premium price for, you want them to last. And that's exactly what they do. And they're trusted by specialty run stores nationwide. They're the fastest growing sock company in America. And it's relief that you can feel on your feet. I can't recommend them highly enough. Their call to action is basically go to your local retailer. They want you to go to your local retail shop because they believe in local retail for the same reason they believe in this podcast. So go to osfirst.com/trials. That's os1st.com/trials to see which local retailer in your area carries them.
My heart just got so happy when that's how they want you to go get their socks. Screw online shopping. Go to your local run specialty store. Listen, the Hein family, we were big on the Matt Chittim Rambling Runner virtual COVID races. So sadly, I was not in an OS First sock then, but we did all of the distances. I skipped out on the marathon, but my husband did the marathon. I remember doing loops in my neighborhood, doing that half marathon. So, you did a lot for us during COVID, Matt. Thank you.
We had some people. The person who won the men's race, the men's marathon, ran like at 2:30.
Dang.
So
I was
for sure.
proud of my 1:37 half on a, just
you beat me by 20 minutes.
Those were good times. I loved that you did that. Okay, can we start with first of all, Peter and I are going to be coming in hot from TRE, so like the level of dorkiness that is just going to be flowing through our veins from running Nerd Central is going to be.
People are going to be like, "How you doing?" I'll be like, "P-backs." Like, I'll be like, they'll be like, "What?" I'll be like, "I don't even know. I got foams coming out my ears." Super foams, super
compression
plates.
socks. We're going to be waking up in the middle of the night, just like saying random names and brands.
I just want to tell you the latest thing that I'm excited about. I just checked the forecast. I'm willing to do a forecast at this point. We are looking at a low of 43 and a high of 54 on Sunday in Sacramento. And from Folsom to Sacramento, that's what we're looking for. Bring your little beanie to start the race because it's a little chilly at the start. That's the sign of success.
Wait, are you going to wear a scarf, Peter?
I think I'll be bringing an assortment of scarves for the perfect, early holiday season weather. If you see me and you're wearing a scarf, just give a gentlemanly nod.
It's like the Jeep wave, scarf wave.
Yeah. Let's do a rundown of the expo shows that we're doing because I'm very excited about these.
So we have on Friday, December 5th at the expo at 3:15, Mitch Amons is coming on the show. So make sure you come check that out. He's coached by Jeff Cunningham. And Peter, you know more about Mitch, so I'll let you give a little rundown.
I mean, Mitch is taking over the world at this point. My brother started to follow him and he's like, "Man, he's just built for social media." And I'm like, that's what the wonderful thing about Mitch is he's just a really good guy. He's just like a genuinely good dude. It doesn't hurt that he has like 18 ab muscles. He's a 2:16 marathoner, but also he's a wonderful man. So Matt and I knew of him, 6-7 years ago when he was getting into the marathon game in 2019. And then he went on to run at the trials in 2024. He was on the cover of Runner's World leading into that and told just a very open and honest story about his drug addiction, how running had just really given him purpose and introduced him. He met his wife because she was pacing a half marathon that he was winning. Talk about a sweet meet cute moment. And she is, I've met her in passing, but she is a riot. I want to tell you about my favorite moment in social media. Mitch always posts a story of like, a photo of his watch after his run, 12 miles, first crack of dawn, 6:55 pace. And then he reposted a story a year or two ago where he's taking the photo of his phone and his wife takes a video of herself coming out with a hose and just guns him down with the hose as he's taking his social. And he's like, "Oh man, like, come on, that's not fair." And you're like, if that doesn't represent a spouse keeping her loved one, grounded, I don't know what does. So
I actually think I remember that.
Yeah, it was so good. And so Mitch will be joining us. He has qualified for the trials at CIM before. He needs like about a 5 or 6 second personal best to qualify again, but he's going to be looking, I imagine, for way more. And yeah, he's always a joy to talk to.
Love that. So excited about that one. And then next at 4:30 on Friday, December 5th, we've got Steph Bruce and the tracksmith Stamata. We're going to have a couple of the athletes that are on that team joining us as well. We don't know who those athletes are yet. I have a call with Steph in about an hour, and so we'll figure all that out. But yeah, that's going to be a fun one to talk about, like the rise of women's running teams across the country and how exciting that is.
Absolutely. A lot to be. I mean, I think we're seeing these teams rise around the country. This is a very brand focused thing that's been done by a few different brands now, and Tracksmith is coming out. They teased a movie that they're gonna have a YouTube channel, like with some content coming in the new year. So I imagine CIM will feature prominently in that. This is their key race. I guess that team is gonna point to a race each season. But yeah, Alana Levy, who was on our Road to the Trials a couple weeks ago, she's part of that team. She's already got that OTQ checked off, but she's raising the bar. Just light work for her. And yeah, I think it'll be fun to hear. I mean, Steph is also always amazing to hear from, and she has rocked CIM before, so always a good person to have on stage.
For sure. And it'll be fun to talk about the rise of these OTQ focused teams, right? And a lot of them some of them are centrally located, or I should say locally located for the runners, and others a little bit more spread out. Like this one obviously is a more spread out version of it. So figuring out like, all right, how is this, besides being cool, it's fun to be associated with a brand, especially if you've been wearing the brand for a long time and stuff like that. But it's interesting to see how this is helpful and how this is moving the needle for these people who are, everything they do, they want it to be focused on getting that trials time. So how is this helping them, get 0.5% to 1.5% better, in that endeavor?
So good. I'm excited about Friday's talks for sure. Saturday, December 6th, the day before the race. Do we have confirmation if this is at 10 or noon? I don't know if we do actually.
I don't personally do.
Okay, so unfortunately, we can't tell you the exact time, but either at 10 a.m. or noon, which if you're following us on social media, which, hello, go follow us, Road to the Trials, we will post the exact time and the schedule on our stories and even our page.
And CIM will be posting it as well.
Yeah. So it's either 10 a.m. or noon. It's not totally solidified yet, but we're going to be talking with Scott Abbott. So Scott Abbott is the executive director of CIM. And Andy Blow works with Precision Nutrition and Hydration. So we're going to be talking with them to talk about. Oh, and the founder. Dang. We're going to be talking with them about how to run your best race, how to fuel properly, all those things. Do you guys want to chime in on that one at all?
Yeah, I'll chime in here. Scott is a great guy. I've known him for years. So I can't wait to talk with him. He's a wealth of knowledge and information, and someone who his love for this race and for the sport is immediately apparent upon talking to him. Like it's just one of those things. He's one of those people who is energetic by nature, but his love for this is it's immediately apparent. I love talking to him, even like in the throes of the craziness of this weekend. Every time I've ever talked to him in person at CIM, it's just a joy. So I can't wait to talk to him. And rumor is that Peter is actually going to try to hand Andy Blow a potential sponsorship deal for Road to the Trials on stage while we're interviewing him. So we'll see if he signs up for a 2026 sponsorship. To be determined.
I will consume hundreds of calories of carbs in that 1 hour.
Right. Taking down the gels during the
we should do that. I think that would be funny.
Right. So we'll do a fueling break. So I can't wait for this, because ultimately you're going to get a ton of course information, the history of the race, which is exciting, but also like, what does it mean to be like the USATF National Championship? Like Scott's a major part of that. So it'd be interesting to see his positioning on it. They've been this for many years. Over the past, more recently, 2017, 2018, and 2022. Now we're getting into 2025. So this is becoming a regular thing. And then with Andy, it's like, hey, what's this been like the carb revolution while you've been at Precision? Like he's been able to really see this come to fruition, which obviously is a big thing for him and his company, but also part of the reason for it with all the research that they do a ton of research with their athletes. So it'll be interesting to see how they've been able to take some of that research that they've done and then incorporate that in terms of best practices for the general public.
I can't wait to take shots of precision on stage.
Just chugging. Here we go.
Gel. Yeah. I'm really excited about that one. And I look forward to reading your resume, Peter, that you hand to Andy to pitch this sponsorship.
The precision team is so cool. They not to just highlight them too much, but if you contact them and ask them, they'll both answer your questions. If you want to get on a call with them to problem solve your nutrition,
Wow.
They will make that happen. They've come and spoken to workshops that I've hosted. They're just
I'm calling from the porta potty at mile 12.
Yeah, what should I take? Yeah, press 0 for immediate help.
This is not sponsored by Precision, but we will accept a sponsorship from Precision.
Right. This is
sponsorships.
It's the official. I mean, the thing is there's a lot of races and there's a lot of sponsorships, and so it's nice when you're headed to an event that has really top-notch stuff. Really good stuff on course, really products you can trust. So I've run some races where you're like, why am I consuming this? Why did you just hand me this? This is not helpful. Whereas Precision, you just know it and you trust it and it'll be good. And then we're still locking down that fourth show.
That's at 2:45. Yeah. So that's at 2:45 on Saturday. We've got a couple feelers put out right now. And so it'll be probably one of the women who are right in that OTQ range, who have either already hit the OTQ or they're going after it for the first time in this cycle. It'll be a great interview though. We're not reaching out to any scrubs. It's going to be good.
Well, speaking of no scrubs, there are so many good runners headed to Sacramento this weekend. Matt, you're good at this. How do we even begin to break this down? I want to make sure we give due process to both the men's race and the women's race. And in this case, we're talking about the US Marathon Championships, which props to CIM. Right. The US Marathon Championships doesn't happen every year. It's dependent on an event stepping up and saying we want to logistically put this together, get the prize money together, make it happen.
All right, let's go back in time first. Let's set the stage. So I mentioned before they did host the national championships in 2017, 2018, and 2022. All right, so that's more. They've hosted more than that, but that's recent history, and there's still some crossover with some of those races and this year's race. But you might think, hey, 2017, are you sure? You better believe it. The women's winner, 2017, none other than Sarah Hall, who's gonna be back here again in 2025. Sarah Hall ran 2:28 that year. Roberta Groner came in second for the USATF Championships rankings, right? Roberta Groner second, 2:30, and then Carrie Dimhoff also ran 2:30, 16 seconds back from Roberta. On the men's side, we had Tim Ritchie run 2:11, Tyler McCandless ran 2:12, Kia Dendena also ran 2:12, so about 30 seconds back from Tyler. That was 2017. 2018, starting with the men this time, Brogan Austin ran 2:12, Matt Yano ran 2:13, and Josh Ozuski also ran 2:13. So again, what you're seeing is some really tight racing right at the front. On the women's race that year, Emma Bates won 2:28. Stephanie Bruce came in a minute later, 2:29, and then Sam Recker came in at 2:30. Again, super close race. Sam Recker, that was great because she was working as a full-time nurse at the time, which was oh my God, she just burst on the scene, was on every podcast and in every running magazine after that. And then 2022, we had Footsum ran 2:11 that year. Jacob Thompson also ran 2:11, about a minute back. And then 20 seconds after that, we had Joel Recco come in. And then women, Paige Stoner ran 2:26. Blazing fast year for the women. Lauren Hurley came in about a minute and a half later, high 2:27s. And then 20 seconds after that, we had Elena Tabb in 2:28.04. And finally, from a course record perspective, okay, both of them were set last year. Okay, 2024. This is just overall course record, not associated with any nationality or USATF championships. We had Sagai Weldevinos came in at 2:07.35. And on the women's side, we had Callie Haugers Daiquiri, 2:24.28.
Dang. So that would be interesting if Callie was racing because Sarah Hall is racing, and I don't know if you follow them on social media, but they are seen training together quite a bit. So
Oh.
that would have been fun to see them throw down together. But I think Callie's taking a break
I'm
Yeah.
just going to jump
from
right in
racing.
here because if you're listening to this, you may not have gone to the runsra.org website and seen the All-Stars. So I'm just going to stop beating around the bush. Leading the charge with a PR of 2:07:56 is none other than Lenny Career, which, I
Fun,
mean,
fun, fun, fun.
yeah, just one of America's best. Not only, if you get third place at the trials, it is a gargantuan day, but then to have that like drawn out like drama of was he going to be, tapped to go to the Paris or not? I feel like he got even more publicity that way. Followed by Daniel Mespun, who's run 2:08:50 and, is just a total crusher all over the globe. Footsum is back, ranked third. Nico Montañez, Christian Allen. Do you want to take this one, Matt? Christian Allen is
Yes, let's hang
total
on this one
stud.
for a second. Christian Allen, a couple years ago, he ran this race and was in front like the whole race. And I think everyone was doing the same thing if they don't follow college cross country, going, who's Christian Allen and why is he winning the California National Marathon? I think he basically held on to like the last 2 miles, ran incredibly well at such a young age. And I think CJ Albertson passed him like with like a mile to go or something wild like that. And from that point on, Christian Allen has just been a rocket ship, and he is one of my favorite athletes, period. Not even from a running perspective, just athletes that I like to follow in any sport, because not only is he a crusher in the marathon, he's run incredibly well. He ran incredibly well at Houston as well. He's also killing it on the trail and a variety of different international trail races. He's a super fun guy to follow. He's just a genuinely nice guy as well, while also obviously being hyper competitive. He also trains with the Salt Lake City crew, so you can see him a lot of like other people's training videos. Christian Allen's there. He's extremely recognizable with the hair.
Yes.
There's a lot to love about Christian Allen. Didn't he just win like what's it called? Did he just win a USATF championship on trail like just 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago as
I
well?
think so.
He's a fascinating guy, such an easy guy to root for and cheer for. And I love the fact that he takes on all of these different kinds of races at the same time. And he melds them pretty well. So like the race selection is all roughly around the same like duration of time. So he'll do a trail race and maybe it's like a little bit shorter on the miles perspective, but it's like around 2 hours. So he's doing a great job of like, all right, this is my zone, around 2 hours worth of racing, and really kind of like, no matter the surface, no matter the location, I'm here for it. And he's a fun guy to follow. And the fact that you can lead out CJ Albertson at like CJ Albertson's like home race is like a testament to also his racing style. He's willing to put his nose in the fight and go for it, which is exactly what you want to see in a stacked field.
So hopefully he'll be running in trail shoes. That would make it really notable.
He is a Nike
Christian,
athlete, so I think
yes.
he'll probably be. I don't think he'll be wearing the Ultra Flies.
Wait,
Yeah,
why
they
isn't
shift him.
CJ running? Do we know?
We have
I'm
it
so
on.
glad that he's not. I love CJ Albertson so much. I was worried that he was going to sign up for this race and be like, oh my God, can someone just get this guy like some recovery boots? He's just taking on so much.
If you listen to our other podcast, Relay, Erica Kemp, who's a fantastic contributor over there, let slip that, shocker to no one maybe, except other than CJ, he's fatigued. He's tired from how many marathons he's run. He ran the World Championship, came back and ran Chicago. And apparently, although I'm sure if you rolled up on Saturday and said, hey, got a bib, they would find that man a bib. But like, CJ Albertson is going to make space for a few other people. Nathan Martin is on this list. Gerald Mock. I mean, if you're a big fan of US marathoning, we could link to this press release in the show notes because there are just a bunch of crushers. I just want to give a shout out to both Joe Whelan, who we've had on the road to the trials, who just loves to run a marathon. He is coming back, as well as Will Norris, who we all fell in love with as just a charming blue collar crusher. He trains in the afternoon after getting off of work, and you can hear his story earlier in this feed. He is just a wonderful man, and he surprised us. This has been the theme of at least half of the Road to the Trials interviews is like, so what's next for you? And they're like, well, taking some time off after I run CIM. And you're like, what?
Right. And maybe the marathon project too. We'll see. We'll see if
Yeah,
it'll
we'll
align.
see.
And Nathan Martin is a maybe criminally underrated as an American marathoner. He doesn't want to be like in the limelight. That's just not his style. He's a super just chill guy. He doesn't want to be on social media. So like anything that you see about Nathan Martin on social media is almost always directed by his coach, James McCurdy, who puts stuff out. So I don't know if he still coaches Nathan or not, but I know like just historically, all the Nathan Martin stuff has been courtesy of James McCurdy. Just an awesome guy, super consistent. That's the thing about Nathan Martin. He's just one of those guys. He is when he does a race, and he does a lot of USATF stuff from the 15K, the 25K, the 20K, all that stuff. He is like, this is really his zone. And he always runs well. He's always in the top 5, maybe the top 6. Like he's just, one of those dudes who are like, if you're going to do like a parlay, like who's going to be in the top 5, I have to pick 3 people. He's always a good bet because he's just so consistent.
Yeah. Talk about someone who just continues to crush.
Are y'all going to let me talk about the women?
Not yet. No.
I
want to compliment Nathan Martin. The Marathon Project is coming back for their second installment in a couple weeks, and Nathan Martin finished top 10 at the first one 5 years ago, and that's when he was already known by the super geeks, but he became more known on the scene. And the fact that he's back still crushing, because if you look at that top 10 list from 5 years ago, there's been a lot of turnover, a lot of retirements, a lot of people's best races were that day. It's a little awkward. Like the Marathon Project is a little bit like a lab. Like you can seemingly create stuff on that course in that weather with those pace groups that is a little harder to recreate out in the typical race, And so the beauty of the US Marathon Championships is it will be fast. It is a fast course, but they're also not trying to, assist each other too much in, setting each other up for the win. They want to be the ones who, emerge at the front. And so, it's going to be a fun race to watch unfold.
And I'll say this, like in terms of consistency, I think of 3 people in like the same breath in terms of like, I feel like when they line up, you can almost like throw a dart, like right exactly where they're going to hit. And that's like, he's not running this race, but like, I like to think of them as like a triumvirate. You have CJ, who's super consistent. Obviously the World Championships didn't go the way he wanted, but seemingly like it felt like 10 races in a row was like 211, 210, 211, 210. All right. And then you have Nathan does the same thing. And then you just mentioned him, Joe Whalen. He runs 212 every marathon. Whether it's an easy course, easier course, a harder course, it doesn't matter, or the conditions. And I think these guys in a similar fashion. So again, that if they're at the front and they're having the day that they anticipate, that they're going to be someone to be reckoned with at the end.
Did you know Tom Brady is making his marathon debut?
Are you kidding me? Oh no, I actually did see that name on the list.
Tom Brady, who went to Michigan, is a very good runner. And
wait, did he actually go to Michigan?
Yes.
This guy?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
I know. I bet we're the first people to have ever mentioned it to him. And he's listed as making his debut. I have not kept up to speed on what his training block has been like. So hopefully he'll be there. But yeah, there's a bunch of people.
Tom Brady that went to Michigan.
I know. Dang. Do you think that they, in the recruiting visit, they were just like, I mean, come on, man. You got to come. Don't go to anywhere else. That'd be ridiculous.
You definitely can't go to Ohio State.
You'll be the big man on campus. Yeah. You want to be notable and not just lost in the crowd. This is one way to do it. All right. Jeez. So we will not bore you, but like there is a lot of crushers. It's going to be a really fun day. And I think the beauty of it being so far out from the trials is it's a real championship. It's a real people throwing it out there for, their hopes and dreams, not hyper fixated on just that 216 mark. So I think we're going to see all sorts of packs of runners going after that, dream number that has been motivating them through training for the last couple of months. Also, in addition to that, on the same starting line will be the women's race, which is going to be fantastic. What do you want to lead us out, Lindsay?
Oh, no, I was just thinking when you were talking about the time I'm just like I'm reading Brad Stolberg's new book,
Hmm.
I think it's The Power of Excellence, something like now I can't remember what it's called, but um and I'm just thinking about how hard it is to like obsess on a time and make that like the end all be all in a race. And I know obviously you know that very, very well.
Go
Um
for it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's like a really good thing, but at the same time it's like there's just so much more to the story. And so I like feeling the heartbreak of the people that might not, get it done, but
I mean,
there's still a lot
it's
of time.
yeah, it's I think this will be a fun year this year and next year. I mean, I can't wait for 2027 when it's just the full like there's no time
Yeah.
left.
This is
Just
the
go
last
for it.
yeah,
Like
this is
that
it.
is it's an intense, but it's a beautiful thing. This is hopefully, you know, this is
A step.
hopefully a step in the process, people throwing it out there and finishing strong and maybe like getting incrementally closer. I will say
Yeah.
on this trials podcast, if you've listened to other interviews on Road to the Trials, we work very hard to both be empathetic and listen to the athletes talk to us about their process driven mindset. And then I try to like actively wave them off and be like, yeah, man, but come on, when you're staring down that pace or like that time, how do you get your head around it? So hopefully we're not like detrimental to their mental health coming on our podcast, like trying to complexify things too much, but it really is true. 216 is no joke, has been proven by any number of good runners who have run races this fall that I'm like, man, I definitely thought that guy was going to qualify first try. And turns out if you run a 216:30 marathon, you've still run pretty darn well. You just have not yet entered the trials for 2028. So with that said, it's an interesting seesaw where the 237 for women has been the same now for several years. They're like, yeah, they've like kind of like measured it out and
Mhm.
know how to take a swing at it. There's just going to be, I think, a truckload of women. We're going to be like tripping them, like, no, we can't interview all of you. There's too many of you coming down the street. So we are led by Sarah Hall. She ran her PR, I believe, at the Marathon Project, 2:20:32. And man, that was, if you want to go, if you're an amateur athlete and you want to be
Mm.
inspired by like, how do I grind? How do I stay
Mm.
tough when things get hard? Go dial up on YouTube the Marathon Project when she heads out at American record pace and has her pacers around her. And I just recall how tough she ran down the, final miles as that record faded from possibility. But woo, Sarah, you do not want to, you know,
Mm-mm.
count her out.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, and I truly believe, like, I don't know that I've seen anybody want whatever it is, whatever the record is, whatever the place is, whatever the win is more than Sarah Hall. And also just nobody that's, like, been grinding as long as her and just, like, putting her whole heart into what she truly loves. I can't remember the conversation, it might have been on Relay when we were talking about the Olympic trials, and I'm like, I don't know that anybody wanted it more than Sarah Hall, I don't know, and so, yeah, I mean, to have her on the start line is gonna be really special, and it's gonna be fun to watch her just put it all out there like she always does, from
Always does.
start to finish.
Following Sarah is DeGeffa, who trains in Colorado Springs, PR of 2:21:34. So, I mean, this is the U.S. Championship. We have people rolling out. Jane
Yeah.
Baracus, who's been on Road to the
Come on,
Trials.
we're
She was
all Team Jane. We're all
We
yeah,
Team
love
Jane.
yeah. Here we
Jane.
go. Just such a kind human and a total crusher, and another one of these athletes back for more marathoning in the fall of 2025.
And we talked about Mitch Amons, like, hey, like, he came to the sport late, and here he is, he's doing amazing things. Same thing with Jane. Like, I think these people who come to the sport late and then like can just absolutely hammer is such a fun story to witness, and that podcast was so much fun to do. And it's gonna be fun to watch her race because
Well,
she
yeah.
has a 2:29, but when you have that conversation with her, it was clear that she's like has some unfinished business in terms of what she thinks she can do on race day.
100%, and she's just got a really, like, fun, excited personality, like, almost like, "What am I gonna open up next time kind of thing because she's so like it's quite the opposite of Sarah Hall. Not that Sarah Hall's not feeling like what more is there, but like just the fact that she's so fresh still in her marathoning career. Back to DeGeffa though, she's won Houston 3 times and the Sydney Marathon twice. So she's no stranger to winning marathons.
I think she's the clear favorite. Sarah is absolutely one of the favorites, but I would
Yeah.
say if I had to say who I think is the person who is, most likely to win, I
Mm,
would say that on the men's side, I would say Leonard Career. On the women's
mm,
side, I would say DeGeffa. That
mm.
would be the two people I would choose.
Interesting. I would say Footsum on men's side.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
Go
fun.
ahead.
Um, there's still time to cancel the Road to Trials podcast. And just shut this whole operation down. I just scanned the list. 47 women who have run under 237 are on this list.
Oh
It
my
is just,
gosh. We
I
don't have
mean,
time for this, guys. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Slow down.
I'm questioning my life
It's all right. We
decisions.
got AI.
No,
We got with the Spotify AI is going to take care of us.
As long as Peter stops scheduling interviews the day before a major holiday, Peter's going to be scheduling interviews on Christmas Eve at like 9
by the
p.m.
way, if you're listening to this, you have not yet listened to the interview I did with Amanda Mossberg, who's a former Division III runner who then ran at Northwestern, who's just an absolute crusher. And I'm so excited for people to listen to that interview when it comes out. She opened up at Grandma's 2 years ago with a 247. Then she ran 237 at Boston. Then she won the Indy Monumental Marathon in 231. It's just one of those things where you're like building up to the question, like, so where's the limit? It's like the sky,
Right.
Yeah.
Those are huge steps. And yours truly got to announce her at the finish line.
Oh yeah.
We should post that video on Road to the Trials, by the way. But I'm telling you, she looked like unstoppable. Like she did not look like she was about to like collapse. She wasn't one of the vomiters at the finish line. I mean, you could just tell when she finished, you're like, oh, there's a lot more left. So that is really, really exciting.
Again, I don't want this isn't therapy. This is like we're trying to get to know them. We're trying to like understand what motivates them. But a little bit when you start to extrapolate into the future, I was like, how are you thinking about the next 2 years? And she was able to say, honestly, like 2 years is sort of an awkward amount of time. Like I need to
Hmm.
figure out what the next thing is that motivates me and actually get really fired up by it because the people who qualify a year out, you sort of like recover, put in some speed work, and then you're back into a big
Mm-hmm.
build. Whereas 2+ years means that these athletes that we've been interviewing, um, I think it's almost in the room with us that like life will be somehow different in 2 years, and they hope that they've evolved as an athlete. But like, man, life leads different directions, and we don't talk about injury on this podcast. Like, strike that, Emma. We don't discuss it. But like, some of these athletes will not arrive to the trials in 2 years healthy, and so now is the time
Mm.
to strike while the iron is hot. We have a lot of good runners throwing down at CIM because I think they think, okay, it could go really well, or at least it sets a really good baseline to like build off of for the coming year.
So I do want to mention Opsi Biro, who's running this race. She's run it in the
Mm.
past. She was part of like a local Rhode Island like post college team around
Oh,
here for a while with Spratford was part of it and some other people as well. And it's like they really it was like the late teens around 2020, right around there. And she's run this race. She's run it really well. So I'd be interesting to see like if maybe like the people who are hoping to run sub 227 aren't on their game. I think she could be an interesting person to watch because again, she has the course knowledge. She's run it before. She's run it really well before, and she's just kind of like under the radar. Not a lot of people know her, and she's excellent
mm.
runner who's run really well here.
Yeah, I feel like she hasn't been on the scene a lot lately. I mean, I was following her quite a bit back in the day. I had her on my podcast years ago, and so I was excited to see her on this start list. That's super fun. Amory Blaney also, guys, she's got a 229 PR and she just ran Indy Monumental half as like a training for this kind of like she was like before the race, she was like, you don't ever want to say that you're not racing all out, but like CIM is my goal, right? And I think that she is about to unleash a big PR.
I think everyone,
Oh.
all the women who finished that half were like, I wasn't trying. Were you trying? I mean, I wasn't trying. So like, I hope you're like,
I
yeah,
haven't even started speed work yet. Yeah.
yeah, yes, not even speed work, like whatever.
That's
Because
so
there was
funny.
definitely the quite a few fast times, but then sometimes where you're like, huh,
What were
I
you
wish I
doing out
could
there?
click in and know exactly how you were approaching that.
No, but
It was
Carrie Elwood, who won the race, she was like 10 seconds off Emma Grace Hurley's
no, she
course record.
torched
She
it.
was
I'm
racing.
like,
Yeah,
whoa, yeah.
yeah, she killed it. I loved it. Savannah Berry also on this list to 29:13. She's run in the trials twice before. Other recognizable names: Jessa Hansen, that's a recognizable name. Lindsey Bradley, who won Indy Monumental last year, is
Mhm.
coming, and our friend Jeff
Everyone
Cunningham.
knows we've touched on the fact that her PR involves her getting knocked to the ground and
Right.
bloodying her face. So that's a soft 231 right there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I want to just give
Yeah.
a shout out to Rachel Highland, who's 38 years old, is married to my
Mhm.
friend Sean, and is such a crusher. She's qualified for so many marathon trials. I'm losing track. She qualified again in Chicago, and she's on this start list. So we
And
shall
didn't
see.
she run one of the Orlando trials pregnant?
That was the Atlanta one.
The most
Um,
energetic person I've ever met in my life. Like,
Oh,
I was like, no
really?
wonder you're good at endurance sports. This woman was like energy personified.
Oh, love
yeah.
it. I've never
She
actually met
also
her.
in my I ran against her husband Sean, who works for New Balance. And we at post post Orlando Marathon trials, we're at the bar, and I'm like talking to him, and he's talking to this other guy, and everyone's had some beers, and he's just like basically raving about how badass his wife is, and she like walks out of the
That's
bathroom
awesome.
wearing a like leather jacket. She's like just in the scene, and she looks at him like, come on honey, like don't embarrass the family. And I'm like, no, like he's like had one too many, and he's talking about what a crusher his wife
Oh,
is. Like he was
that's
so
so
proud.
good.
It was so awesome.
I
Yeah,
love to see that.
we could go on and on by how many awesome, runners are part of this. Shalea Kip, she's
Mhm.
further on the list, but has just been a crusher for many years. And then quite a few debutantes. And then the last listed time entrant is one Courtney du Walter. Is that how you pronounce Courtney
Oh,
du
I
Walter's name?
forgot she's gonna be there.
She's
Why
been
aren't we
posting
asking
about speed work.
Wait, why aren't we asking her to talk to us at the expo?
Oh, maybe hit her up. Yeah. Maybe she's too psyched out. We wouldn't want to throw her off her game.
That's true. That's true.
um, no, it's I love hearing ultra runners who are, famous for their abilities mentally and physically talk about how difficult the marathon is. It really warms
Yes.
my heart. So we should get her
Yes.
on there.
I
So
love it.
what's the
Well,
more
either
interesting
way.
storyline? Des moving to ultra
Yeah.
or Courtney moving to marathon? Right? We're basically doing like what do they call like that Asian symbol where it's like the two colors like
Yin
integrate?
yang.
Oh yeah, the
Yin
yin
yeah, they're
yang.
like
Here
the
we
yin yang
go.
of each other.
And
I
like
don't know though, but I don't feel like this is like long-term thing for Courtney. I feel like she'll get
No,
back
but
to
still,
but like she's like, let me just see what I can do
second
here.
one this year though.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a
because she didn't get
big.
her OTQ. I'm assuming she's going for OTQ. I don't know.
I
Must
mean,
be.
maybe, but like also Courtney just spends her own time in her own mind. Like I
Well,
think
I mean, like there's plenty of people, and Peter, you might have been one of the people who told me this that like they've seen her at Forest Hill, roughly mile 65 of the Western States course, clicking off 6-minute miles, like while talking to her crew and taking in carbs and just like acknowledging the crowd. So I'm not saying that she's like automatically going to run 6-minute miles for the whole marathon, but she's done it plenty of times in her life. Let me
Yeah.
just put it that way.
This will be
I'm a
really
big
exciting.
believer in when star athletes declare that they're going to go a new direction. I say this with love and affection. I'll believe it when I see it, because I think it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to try this new thing. And then it's harder to actually, I sort of wait to see if they discover the fire inside to commit to it. So I love that Courtney's doing a second marathon because she ran that time earlier this fall. And so to me, it indicates she had a good experience and she's back for more. Like
Especially
Des,
marathon where she's going to be like in a tight knit group of people running
she'll be
around the
with a
same
bunch of
time.
people. Yeah,
I
that'll
mean,
be
this
fun.
is the thing I've been trying to tell anyone and everyone who's running CIM. it used to be that it was a fast race. I mean, this is like it's been around for decades. It used to be a fast race with these distinct pace packs, and now there's so many, thanks to, podcasters like us and the running boom and like hyping these stories, like it is not an undiscovered event at all. And now it's like just a stream of humanity. There could be, let's say you want to run 245. There could be like 3 245 packs out there. Where no, technically there's like a spot on the road, that's exactly the distance from the start to the finish that time passed. But really, there's like groups of people working together. And if you get out there and you're running this race, just know that, like, don't obsess exactly who you're with. Try to find people to work with and try to move down the road, because there is no longer. I ran as part of the 245 pack years ago, and it was just so clear. Like, no one was really in front of us. And then there was a big swarm of humans, and then there was a trickle of people falling off the back. And it's just changed over the years. There's, enough people who are shooting for 243 that like they're right ahead of you. But they're on a different
Right.
mission, and it's about running your own race and settling in with people that, give you the right energy. But this is just a huge pack of humanity. As a fan cheering on the side of the road, it's hard to find, like your athlete, because it used to be a little bit more thin throughout those sections. And now it's just a huge group of people in super shoes squeaking down the road.
For sure. I know we got to get going. Lindsey has another call to do. But we'll say this. From a race day coverage perspective, the spot to be is going to be Road to the Trials Instagram page. That's at Road to the Trials. We're going to be doing a ton of finish line coverage stuff, focused obviously on those people who are getting their OTQ, but we'll also get the people who win the races as well. We're trying to get as many quick post race, 30 to minute and a half, quick little bits of interviews going on. Also, because it's a USATF event, I know USATF TV is not the most reliable source for running coverage, but they're going to be doing something. So I'm not,
Okay.
we'll kind of like, you'll find out that morning exactly what they're able to do. But I think that's also another spot if you want to get race day coverage beyond just like the tracker.
Yeah. Like we're going to be all over it. Go follow
I
us
gotta
on
go
those
find that
stories.
video. I have a video I clipped years ago where I got caught by Paige Stoner and the motorcycle comes up next to me, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. But like, you're running as hard as you can. and
And that was the year
I'm
she
like,
won, right? She ran
yeah,
like 226, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the year she won. And
It's
I'm
your
just
time
like,
to shine, Peter, when you get passed by the women's leader.
when you're like staring down the barrel of the videographer's camera going, everyone watching this is a nerd like
Who wore it
me.
better, Peter Bromka at CIM or Jared Ward at Berlin?
Yeah, just like, "Boop, boop, boop. Gotta go, gotta go. Um,
Oh man. All right,
it's
guys. Well,
gonna be
thank you
so
so
fun.
much. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.